blank, period. No need doing did. King Kamal so raw with a pocket of lint. Ty ramen hunger, nigga, I will stomp you to bits. Keep it simple for your mental, some are dumber than shit. Midwest, down south, summer style is a mix. Melanin, intelligent, chain swing like elegance. Set up a nigga said, merciful, benevolent. Lady in the leopard print, fine as hell, heaven sent. I could do your body right, don't treat me like a derelict. These weak motherfuckers don't know what to do. Come dance with the gods, say you know how to groove. Let me Charles Lee, royal girl, show me some moves. Catch bullets with my teeth, but it's sicker than you. AP, kick them all, yeah, we showing them proof. My Converse, kiss a bitch, nigga, do move. Got me blown, we was chose, no nigga can move. Actually, girl, we look third with a worldwide AP like Billy D. Hang you, nigga, pick a tree. Down low with the nickel beat. Peter Pepper, pick the pepper beat. True cipher with the recipe. True cipher with the recipe. Bruce Lee shades on like the 70s. AP Jim Kelly with the remedy. Get a dose of the roundhouse kick. Nigga, what you really know about a jailhouse flick? Day room, get a jailhouse kick to the back of the top. You don't understand jailhouse shit. Prominent, told you before, the most dominant. Islamic, speak of the God, make you vomit. Wow, bless the bond of the triad. Gone sounds for the Taoist nomad. Profacities, frog butts, sports for the many, I'm no glutton. Move smoother than me clashes. Gentrifiers get 52 lashes. Zen patriarchs fed the weak suffering, but ain't for buffering. Wicked still running. You think you ready to unload some toughness? Fist at the satellite combined L stance. Yeah, that's imminent if I think it perchance. Careful when you serve my goons in the venue. See his fake cage bones on the menu. I love you.
Sure. I like some Chinese spare ribs.
Chinese spare ribs?
You mean to tell me you don't know what Chinese spare ribs are? Well, let me show you, man.
OMG, LOL, I rebel in this house. Stories to tell as great ones fell. I wonder how my time fast sister Luna shines. Smoothly I soar into worlds that I sing. Iron butterflies
Peace, Cassie.
protect me in your wings.
Okay.
Of the musk-matted life asunder. Salute old king who sparked us from plunder. Where naked eyes can't detect the forces sworn can't protect.
Okay. All right, so I'm here today. I wasn't able to make it to the school. That's the kind of week I've had, but I wanted to build online here for a little bit. I will be here for 2 hours, so I'll be here till 7 o'clock, okay? Taking people's questions, whatever they need to know, okay? I'm going to build on some things too, as it comes to my head, certain things that I did want to build about, you know? Okay. I want to see something here. Looking through the videos that come out in the law school in Mecca, I there's so much great stuff on there. I really need to mine those more myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't realize people don't, I do realize. I'm saying I don't think people altogether realize what a great tool it is to see that. Even if some of us, we had those elders and we built with those elders personally, seeing them build, you get different insights. You know what I'm saying? And it means something. Seeing them build under different circumstances, different challenges. Having a question, an interview, and stuff like that, where they know they're answering something for a larger populace and not just that one individual, is actually something unusual, technically unusual to the pedagogy of a 5%er. It's different for some elders because they had that experience, but not all of them. So it doesn't mean that they aren't exceptional. It just means that, it's new,
to human nature. Okay, to human nature. This is something that I've been asked before. I think, yeah. Essentially, the build degree speaks about the original woman. It speaks about the different currents of the different currents, the different styles of weather. Those are all mentalities, um, aspects. You know, self I build peace. Yeah, this is it's a nice. It's an old sweat. I've had this for a long time. You know, the cold current, the warm current. Yeah. So these are. I'm trying to see if I give it a new spin, but it's basically um, really a metaphor for the nature of the woman and how we deal with her. Right, drawing her up though is basically uh, to her equality is basically showing her that with that original woman and with us, there's something greater when they are together, right? And when the original man is with his woman and he is dealing with her on that level, he is helping to funnel those currents. Okay, he's helping to funnel those currents, you know, and that's essentially what that degree is, you know. I think you may be trying to look too heavy. um I think it's not I don't think it's that useful to constantly look at degrees. I'm not saying this is what you're doing, I'm saying what people do, and continue to find the or see the metaphors or see the applications, right? Metaphor, especially with the metaphor that others see, you know, like, so you see somebody give a big build. I'll give another example, a big build about cream of the planet Earth, and it's okay, yeah, but technically what they said is not a scientific fact. No matter what, cream of the planet Earth though is still an analysis though. Okay, there is no definition of cream that means something with the man or his seed, right? Let's get particular how people use it. That is actually a defined thing. It's more of a metaphor of life. It's a metaphor people use, right? So we assume, and it's best understood that we could use it that way, right? But it's still interpretation. So it's interpretation to find an insight in the degrees, and it's important to know that you could fall into error like that. Doesn't mean that you fall into error, but one could fall into error like that because they may not be proving the connections. You know what I'm saying? If you don't prove the connection, you know what I'm saying? Then you're just you're just making metaphors that work really good, and it's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to take note of. You know. All right. So still now that doesn't help if you're like you see, my worry is this, right? When we look at a degree, I'm going to open up some things here too that will help in this to support. Kasim, I don't know if you ever emailed me, right? Have you ever emailed me? But I have a build. I have a couple of plus lessons, not on building on specific degrees per se, but the nature of building with the degrees. And these can be very helpful. Okay. Well, if you were here with me or you're in a classroom, what I would ask is like who wants more, right? Like in what ways do people want more? You know? Because I think that we see that the degree is long and then they want something for that degree, you know? Um okay, all right. I don't know why it's right in front of me. Okay. Yeah. So the plus lesson I'm referencing is the justice build. All right. But I'm gonna go back to it's a good point that you make there. This idea of having to build on it, and this happens very overtly in the classroom. I have people over the many years, you get a sense of when people want more to the build and more not to. And so this isn't always the case. I'm just giving you different scenarios. One has to learn when you have said everything that needs to be said. Because what happens is that some people, they thirst for the understanding, which is logical, they thirst for the understanding, which is logical. But what happens is that you feel that, you sense that, and you start to build more and more with them. Okay, so you start to build more and more with them. It's like, oh, they're open. They're open. I'm going to give them more. I want to tell them more things. You know what I'm saying? And then you give them more, and then what happens is that you're talking there from really what was an insightful build about something that was directly to them that they needed to do. Like in your mind, let's say in this mind, my son of the teacher, I know what they need to learn, and I've realized it. So then I say it. But what happens is I see that they thirst for more. For many of us that teach, this is a feeling that we're not used to. Like we engage in it. We have so much time where people don't listen to us. It's real. Like this is all of us. It's not just like someone else or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't listen to us. And then, wow, somebody's actually listening. I could really finally, let me give them all that they need, because this one could be one that that actually will get it and stuff, right? So the problem with this is that now when you gave a direct build about a specific thing, that's what they needed, okay? But they may have never heard something, and they may not have needed all that. What can happen is that just because the student is desiring to hear many things doesn't mean that they're able to take in many things. Now in the classroom, right? For example, like for here with 2 hours and stuff, right? If I'm in the classroom for a set amount of time, though, that really doesn't apply. I'm going to keep overloading you. And the reason is because I have this time that I have to continue. But the other reason is that now upon the student, and if they don't know, then, we try to tell them or remind them, you are going to be overloaded with this time. There'll be some things that you really need, and then other things that you could use later. You know what I'm saying? And so what we do is we're telling them now the onus is on you to be a student. So now you've got to get your pens, you've got to get your pads and all that. You know what I mean? I'm wondering where all my books are. You're here at the office here. So, oh my goodness. Of course, we got your pen, notes, journals, whatever it is, right? And for those that this is journal number 73, right? So, all right. But you get your stuff out. You start to study. You know what I mean? So this is important, though. Okay. When you're with someone outside, you want to be able to tell them this is what you need. You know what I'm saying? I didn't learn this particularly overtly from the gods. The gods were built forever, though. Okay. And if they catch you as they got older, if they loved you, and it was such a thing of love that they wanted to build with you. And because I always took notes, I always had memo pads, little memo pads, and I always took notes. And the gods, the elders that would build with me would build me for a long time, because a lot of them, it meant something. If I took out that notepad and started taking out, there was an importance to what they said, and they respected that, they loved it. And I've always gotten so much love. However, I learned this technique, though, when you're teaching, especially when it's not in a classroom setting, because in classroom setting, when someone's overloaded, I tell them, listen, reminder to take notes. Please take notes. Now, I don't say that. If you notice, I don't say that much when anyone that is seeing stream, they say, I never hear Sunez say that. And I've been watching this since the COVID. He started this during the COVID. If you don't realize that I'm taking your notes for you, right? Then you have to go back to the video. So even though a student is overloaded, you can go back to the video. That still is not the best way. If you are relying on the video, you're giving yourself more time to have to go back instead of taking the notes immediately at the time. Still, when I learned kung fu, my Qigong, Bobby Whitaker, there were many days where he would teach me and stuff, and then he would say, "Okay, that's it." Now we would train some, and we would be at Mount Morris Park, and we'd be training all day from Saturday at 12 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. Okay, so we would be leaving at 7 and stuff like that, you know. So it'd still be light out, but by the time we get home, it's already dark. Basically, eat dinner, go to sleep. We'd be broken. However, there were always specific things that he would teach me, but it was only a few specific things. In other words, he didn't take those 7 hours to teach me all these different techniques. Like 7 hours, I could load him with all the different techniques. He taught me certain things. And then other things he would have, it would be a way for training all day, because no matter what anybody says, the way that you train and exhibit yourself, especially as a student, is different when your Qigong is there than when you're not, though. It takes a lot of discipline to have that intensity the same when you're on your own, you know. And I could say that out of the many things that I've learned is to have that kind of intensity on my own. All right, but it took a long time to learn that, to learn that discipline. But many times, at other times when I would learn with him, we wouldn't be there. So he would teach me, and then he would say, "That's good, you're good," and so he would even say, "You could go home now." I said, "Oh, but everybody's still here." So like, "No, you got everything you need. That's what you need." And sometimes he would send me home because he didn't want to get overloaded with other moves and other distinction. He wanted the nature of the way I moved at that moment, doing that particular move, and that to be the way that I'm doing stuff. You know, that I took that into the way I teach people. And when the more that you teach people, the more you can understand, though, when they need a little a seed in there, a push along. The knowledge build degree. We're gonna go back to the build degree in the 1 to 40, though, right? We're gonna go back to the build degree in the 1 to 40, right? But it goes. What I'm talking about goes to the knowledge build degree. Okay, the duty of a civilized person to teach he who is savage civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of himself, and the science of everything in life, which is love, peace, and happiness. Civilization, righteousness, knowledge of himself, and the science of everything in life. 4 things, and then that 4th thing, you know, branches off into like 3 parts, right? Or not really branches off, but is described as the state of these 3 things: love, peace, and happiness, right? Because in this degree, those are really states of being. You know, if you look at love, it's a state of being, though, right? A state of care, a state of desire for well-being, and showing meaning to all things that you do toward others, right? A state of peace, though, a realization that you will stop confusion. You do your best to stop confusion, right? By bringing clarity to situations. And of course, happiness, though. And that you're in a state of constantly seeing what is the best part in all things, the joy of things. And it's very hard to do, right? We'll hope that the science of everything in life is something that we continue to apply and learn, and allows us to put ourselves in these states, which often and nearly all the time, right? It's not easy. They fluctuate. Now, I said this degree because what my Sigong Bobby taught me was overtly reminding me of this idea of civilization, righteousness, and knowledge of self. Okay? A lot of times, though, once a person gets knowledge of self, the first step is to show them the real world that they are in, that it is not the civilization. It is a mock-up of a civilization that has lasted 6,000 said years, right? When someone realizes that, then they seek to learn, then what you're doing is you're giving them righteousness. Okay? You're giving them righteousness. In other words, the right ways to reach a state of where you could say, I'm doing righteous things. Okay? I'm doing righteous things. Once they are doing the righteous things, then we want to see if they are ready for a knowledge of self. You see? And you're studying their character. You know? Are they willing to hold this? Are they willing to present themselves as such? Right? You're looking at many factors. Why does this go back to what you said, Kasim, about building? Right? Is that we want to look at the degrees, though. And instead of looking at degrees and saying, I got to pull out the metaphors, the jewel aspects, all of that, I got to take it back to the most elaborate builds on degrees that you'll ever find. And I say you'll ever find because other gods might argue, no, sorry, but that's me, God, that's me. I'm saying this person because they documented it. They have the documentation, though. Okay? And so I've seen documentation as a written thing, and I've seen the elaborateness as a performed thing. Okay? Give me a minute, though, because I am drinking so much liquid. I need a break. But I will be back. Yes. Oh, man. Peace to the God King. You know what I mean? I was word is bond. I was gonna say peace to the God King, whether he was on the thing or not. When I hear these beats that we rocked on, wow, what a blessing! What a blessing! You know what I mean? I'll be with you later, though, King. Though, but this week has been one of appreciation on a level that is it's just the way it is. But I appreciate all these things. Now, excuse me. The elder I was talking about was Dumar Wadi Allah, remembered imperfection. The God was one of the greatest showmen, and he was such a showman that people that didn't really know thought that he doesn't even care about teaching. It's just about the show for him. Like, and I used to just, in my head, after a while, just, the perfect song in my head would be Ghostface Jealousy. You know what I mean? Because if you really think that after watching all of his builds and stuff, then you didn't really understand him, though, But he was able to build degrees. He was able to use degrees, though, to show and prove to these three levels, states of learning that the individuals are at. Now, there's many other states of learning that the individuals are at. That individuals could be at that. Pedagogy is a deep science. But when we're dealing with the knowledge of self, it's those three levels: civilization, righteousness, knowledge of self. He had builds that went with exposing, right, the Johnny neck bones, he used to say, right? And I forget all the others, so I gotta go back and read his builds. He had builds that could show people the worthiness of the righteous way, right? So even if they wasn't, and now you think, why did he was speaking at colleges about this knowledge, representing us, but he was leaving people though with things that they could do. I have met people that are not 5%ers that have heard him at colleges that they were at, and I don't know if they became 5%. All I know is that they weren't at that time. You know, they weren't at that time. And the interesting thing was they got something out of it though. So they got a level of righteous. They had a more cognizant way of looking at civilization, and they were looking at different things to do, right? So even by default, some of the things that we do, like we don't eat pork and things like that, or we question the mysterious aspects because we don't believe in the mystery God. We don't believe in anything. But even a believer might not believe everything so easily after building with him. And that's amazing. That's beautiful. Okay? So these are things that we're talking about. The interesting thing, right? The national statements, that's right. And these they were called national statements, but they were really just builds that he had. And he's the one that inspired me, like, immediately to say that I could write, and with the same bravado that I had when I wrote all the hip hop things I write. You know, I could write with all that, you know, and I just had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, gee, I'm a build with you later, God. I'm gonna build with you later, God, King. But yeah, get well, God. We need you to get well. It's been a tough week, man. You know, I'll let you know. But damn, all right. So going back to the build degree, when we look at it from this perspective, would we build? Let's say, would we build? We certainly wouldn't build with a woman and just say, you know, it's about your currents though, and you know, like you gotta be more right and exact. Like your currents is, you know, I gotta control that because you know you're not really controllable, right? So it wouldn't be the same way. So with many of the degrees though, we may overlook things. The first immediate thing to see in a degree, what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes, is every time it asks us a what, the answer is never going to be a mystery. That is one of the most important things to realize in the 120 lessons. That even if we go through spiritual doctrines that don't have mystery in them, there are still mysterious elements of we don't really know the answer. Right? So when we look at ancient texts like the Taoist or the Confucian text or anything like that, those aren't really mystery God texts at all. Even the Buddhist, many of the ancient Buddhist texts, because all that pray to Buddhist stuff, that's all later. That's people misinterpreting the whole thing. But there are still things that are mysterious and accepted to be unknown. One of the greatest things about 120 lessons is that it's a beginning set of things that you're learning that wasn't taught to you. But it must give you the mentality that things can all be known. And that to me is one of the most scientific realities. People talk about science though, and they talk about things that they accept things that others give them, i.e. vaccines, things like that. And they do it in a guise though that we wouldn't know or anything like that. One of the keys of science though, that must be remembered, is this idea of questioning, and not just a question, that we can find the answer. Okay? That we don't need to be there. We don't need to be. If we study the question, the first step to answer it, though, is to study the qualifications it would take to answer it. And all of that, those qualifications are all within our guise if we work toward it. You know? But anyway, I digress. It gives you facts about the earth, the sun, and the moon. the first thing that people use the metaphor is the attracting powers on a planet while it's traveling at a terrific speed of 1,037 and a third miles per hour, right? As it makes its way around the sun. Okay? If we represent the sun and the black woman represents the earth, though, then that means that we interact with the earth. Okay? Remember, we interact with the earth in even more ways, the sun, that is, in even more ways than are defined in the degree. The reality of photosynthesis and all of these things that are taking place because of the sun. We draw this water up, though, to its fullest equality. Okay? This idea of the water being drawn up, though, and never above a certain point, though, is that there are what? There are levels. There are clear differences. People look at it as superiority to inferiority. No, there are differences. The sun and the earth are not the same. They do specific things. The black man and the black woman do specific things. Their interaction will be up to a certain level. You see? And even if you say, well, that's because she can't rise above 6. No. The truth is her depth reflects. And so she would be able to what? Show and prove her reality right? So she would reach the 7 in a way of that she is earth. She would be able to build in a way that she is earth. She would be able to born things because she is the earth, right? Building. So that's something to take note of. Okay? This idea of the drawing up, though, is that, it reminds me of something I was building with the earth. We were building with the earth last time when the earth jewel was there. No, you cannot make anyone build. So no matter how much you draw them up, you cannot make them build. You get what I'm saying? It is up to them to complete the mission. And if you look at the degree like that, even as it goes to a metaphor of the black man and the black woman, it still will be understood even greater. Right? Okay. So do you want to spend your time saying, what are the cold and warm currents? What are the swift and changeable currents of the black woman? And then you deal with a black woman that's your earth, and you try to define all of her swift movements, all of her changeable movements, right? If that's possible, technically it would be, right? They're all changeable. I think it would be a disservice to the build. You know what I mean? Here's another thing that goes beyond the metaphor of the build in the build degree. All of this action takes place at levels and interactions. And if we understand this, though, this is also about our interactions with all of humanity. See? And the way that we interact with them will also be how they respond. And this is why it's always said, but what makes rain, hail, snow, earthquakes? You. You see what I'm saying? And some of the best lines in this degree are at the end. Some of the most important. You know what I mean? So when it says the reason it rains back on the planets is because the water cannot get out of the Earth's atmosphere with its high speed of rotation with high speed of rotation around the sun, making it impossible, right? So there were certain things that we give her. There's only certain things she could do with it, right? In other words, I see that as also she can never be other than herself. So we cannot give her these things and then she could rise up and be God. She can only be herself. So I don't look at these degrees as negative. I look at them as the reality, right? But then the jewels, the earthquakes are caused by the Son of Man experimenting with high explosives. In fact, all of the above is caused by the Son of Man. This entire life is experiments with truth, like Gandhi says, right? That's all it must be. We just take these things and understand them, right? Yes. Even though the degree says build or destroy, can one build while destroying at the same time? They both go simultaneously, right? Because when I build, um, let's look at I'm playing instruments to our albums, King. Before we made the albums, they did not exist. You see what I'm saying? So we destroyed a vacancy, right? We destroyed a vacancy that didn't exist. No one would ever thought about our work existing until we made it. I'm trying to fix my shirt. All right. Until we did it, right? When you build, you have to destroy what was previously there. So it is a destruction of the past that is happening. So they are simultaneous. No? This is different than the other two words. Culture, freedom, power, refinement. They're different. Build and destroy is different because the others don't really go together in that fashion. Um, because of being direct opposites. All right. All right. Any questions? I don't know if people saw Allah School in Mecca, the our universal flag legalities, and I want to talk about some of the things that I saw in here. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thought process on it, because I wrote a comment there, and I'm pretty sure that my comment there has the most likes. And trolls didn't even respond to it, which is at least what's happening now. But I want to speak on it because there's a lot of things I think 5%ers don't overtly think of. And I think a lot of everyone that is watching, that is learning to get this understanding, they're not really seeing. And I'm going to go through it, okay? I'm definitely going to go through it. And then get me a folder as well. How many interviews does I have, you know? Ooh, this beat is crazy, right? This beat is crazy. I had something for this though. Right? Drenched seal, sword, logo, filthy emblem. Under universal flag, we assemble. A square is the stance, retreat is no happenstance. Air like build, like peer reviewed, the spear imbued. The streets filled with strange fruit ripening. Work the range of their roots to widen it. They lusted lotteries of lots of dollars, drafted in mockeries of culture robberies. We fight on. Yeah, man. I came with that. All right. Anyway. Let's see. Peace to the God, G1. All right. Um, Speaking of dealing with different currents, I've been getting into the origin of the original people that have been recently migrating. Can you add on about Herman Cortez and the Aztecs? I don't remember. Herman Cortez is familiar to me. I don't remember. I haven't read, honestly, um I haven't read something specifically about indigenous history below in South America for a while. So I can't remember Cortez's involvement specifically with the Aztecs though. Other civilizations like Inca, Maya, Olmecs, all of these original civilizations, they existed at different time periods though, and at different spaces. South America is huge, so you have to plot the time periods, but also where they were in Latin America, South America, to be specific and proper with the terminology here. You know what I'm saying? Um, let me do it because I don't know. I learned about Herman Cortez, but I don't remember. Um, I don't remember thinking any Spaniard, except probably. um, but you say he's related to Aztec. He's the one that um, is given that led the expedition there, right? That he went into um, the Aztec Empire. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So these were all devils doing devilishment. I don't remember any Spaniard, unless the Spaniards like de las Casas, Bartolomeu de las Casas, and others. Happy Sky, yeah. Um, when we look at the Spaniards in general and what they started, though, like to say that look at him as a 10% trader or more like Yakub, um, I don't know the history like that. So I'm curious. Why would you say he was? I don't remember studying any Spaniard that I thought of them as a Yakubian figure. Um, Remember, as far as Yakub's rules and regulations, right? As far as Yakub's rules and regulations, many of the Spaniards dealt with the idea of lightning. So they took on other populations that they wanted to get rid of and brought them into Puerto Rico. So Ponce, which is one of the most blackest provinces in Puerto Rico, for example, the Spaniards allowed Southern Italians, who were not white, they were darker too, but led them into living in Ponce. So they're not the lightest of light at all. They have black blood, but to try to lighten up the population and kill two birds with one stone, they would do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So even though I'm light skinned in, I know how I got light skinned in, right? For those that know, my father is from Ponce. He was from Ponce, and my older was from Patillas, and she's darker. She was darker, very indigenous looking. Whereas my father was more lighter. You know what I mean? So you see a very combination, very light skinned people from Ponce, and also very dark skinned people. Look, you just see it in the salsa. You go from Hector Lavoe, Eddie Palmieri, who are light skinned, to Cheo Feliciano. So you see a spectrum, a very wide spectrum. But if you refresh my mind, if you refresh if you refresh me on the history of that, what are the specific instances or the things that he did that make you feel like you're not sure if you see it as Yakubian or as 10%? Okay, you said like Hernan conquered the Aztecs. He was Spanish conquistador, right? He ultimately merged the two cultures. The indigenous peoples were Spanish. Right now known as Mexico. Yes. But remember, that's what the Spaniards had a different way of engaging. Many of the Spaniards in general did that. Remember, the Spaniards didn't have a problem with interbreeding because they were already interbreeded, if we say. The Spain was conquered and brought to a level of civilization by the Moors from 700 to 1400. There were 100 years to get out that influence, leading to the Spanish Inquisition, where you can't admit that lasts to this day. So the Spaniard, they weren't about, we can't engage with these people as far as having sex with them and breeding. No. And the way they thought about it was that if they did, then they would be a different type of person, a new person, and that makes sense because that's how they felt in Spain under the rule of the Moors, which was not like a brutal rule. It was an engagement rule. Like, they were bringing stuff to them. So it's much different than what people's perspective, what we usually think of, of that kind of thing. So what I see it is more Yakub like, that whole process. I don't think that it was. We could see anything where people are trying to interbreed with others for a purpose, though, as that. We could see anything as that. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, though, if someone wants to get FBA foundational about it, or purity, only the black seed is right and exact. We could do all that with this analysis. You know what I'm saying? However, if you take note, once the Spaniard became something else, they weren't really welcome back to Spain. So there wasn't once those families were made, they were pretty much Spaniards that weren't going to have much of a life in Spain. Okay? So that was already pretty much out the door. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing to take note of. Oh, goodness. But yeah. I'm gonna take a minute because I want people to come with their questions, because I'm gonna go into that whole thing about the universal flag and the trademark and all that. So if you have any questions about that you're curious about, let me know, because there's a lot of issues I have with the whole thing, and since it's already out there, I'm gonna build in a certain way, and that way, so my stance is known. Them when showing them who they really are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just understand that the slavery that the Spaniards put their colonies through is a much different slavery, as far as the mentality of of how they saw the humanity of the slave was different. It was probably, they were all dehumanized, but if we had to compare, they're the closest to just an indentured servant than anything else. And I'm really stretching that. But comparing it to the way the British, obviously America, right? That becomes America, and other islands like Jamaica and things like that. Were much different, much more savage in the mentality of how they saw the slave. This is why some of the colonies, like Dominican Republic and others, they had gotten rid of slavery early, and it becomes more of a difficult experience that was overcome. So now look at it this way. The mentality of a lot of people that went through slavery in other places, it was hell. But they get to look at it, and they have mentally look at it, and in their heart, something I went through, but that I succeeded, and they actually have a sense of upliftment that they're able to engage in a society because they went through that and they survived it. Okay. I would liken it similar to someone that was locked up and now they prevailed and they got out and they're never going back in. Um, it's not exactly the same, but it's in that vein, you know. I remember in Spain, the it's the one drop rule is reversed, so that's how it became. So a little bit of white, if you have some white, then you're white. You know what I'm saying? This is why brothers get mad and they want to get mad at lighter brothers. They want to get mad at Latinos or whatever like that, because they didn't make that. And yet, so they think that because that goes on and people can adapt, they think that racism doesn't exist or things like that. You know. So someone that's lighter could still say that they are white because they have a drop of it, right? So me, like technically, in my immediate generations, I can't prove that there are any white people in it though. But if one of my relatives and they constantly do that, say, "Oh, there was a French guy that was somewhere in the history," this is a claim. This is a good enough claim. It's preposterous. It doesn't make any sense, but it's the claims that they make. So what happens is, um, once this happens, um, does this negate slavery? I mean, excuse me, negate the racism that goes along? And it's like, no, because anyone, it still means that there are a lot of other light skinned people, and it still goes that the lighter is going to have the greater benefits. So the one drop rule lets someone that's kind of dark or has a little bit lightness claim something, but it doesn't necessarily push them like people would think. You know, um, the racism still abounds. You know, and remember, racism everywhere is compounded by the poverty that exists. So it becomes a horrid cycle. So the darkest people are put through the hell, or they have the least amount of opportunity, because remember, for people to advance in life, this is all a world of people. So to advance, you still need the aid of other people, and sometimes you don't. And when you don't get that, what happens? You know what I mean? So it's still about people giving things, and the darker you are, you don't get the opportunities from other people. So now the poverty increases. You see, but because you're poor, you get less opportunities, and so it becomes a self-serving cycle of sorts. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, Chico DeBarge, yeah, yeah. Because you know me, I'm especially in the winter, I'm light skinned in it. You know what I'm saying? I get some things. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of darker people think that like I get all these benefits. Like I think the way like especially like FBA, the way they talk about it like if I walk down the street, you know, I'm lighter, right? I'm lighter in the winter, right? I literally get darker based on the season, right? And so it'd be like that Eddie Murphy skit where we painted himself white, like you know, like people giving me free newspapers and shit. And you know what's funny? I think people in the nation feel that I've been given advantages though because I'm light. I really truly believe that, and I truly think that. And what people don't get though is that I was given advantages when I got knowledge of self because I was older, and so I wasn't being seen as just someone that was a newborn child. I was being seen as a newborn that just needs to get the knowledge to add on to the nation. So it was a more like rush and get this knowledge of self because there are things that we want you to do in this nation. Yeah, I got knowledge at 23 years old, and I was already a professional, right? So I was already a writer. I was already a published writer, you know. Um, and so I was able to keep my means at the time. I had my family and everything. I had the family unit, the Universal Flag Family Unit. So these things worked well for me. It showed them that I didn't need to be civilized or kept in check. So they expected things out of me from the minute I walked in the door and showed them proof. So that's different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that just to say that. But it's gonna segue into what I'm gonna talk about this because what I realized most in this video of our universal flag legalities that Inf Mega made was exceptional. Um, but there's a lot of things that I don't think people know that they need to know in general. So give me a moment, and I'm gonna get into that, and I'm gonna answer that question that's down there. In the community, though, this caste system also dishonors the work that certain people do. You know what I'm saying? And it also makes other people feel that they haven't earned what they had. So it gives the assumption, and that happens to me a lot. People assume, and mind you, among Puerto Ricans, because we're very light skinned. Among Puerto Ricans, though, I'm a little bit darker than the average. It's a slight different, a little bit darker. Um, I don't get this among Puerto Ricans, but I get this among when I'm in ciphers with other original people, specifically Black Americans, though. You know what I'm saying? Um, but the more people know the realities, and they know that that's a lot of bullshit. You know what I mean? Let me answer Noah's question first, and then I'm going to go into this whole legalities thing. And you may ask any questions that you want. Okay? Okay. Let me try to plug this in first. I ran out of plugs. All right. Noah said, peace, Sunez, peace. And everyone in the chat, what's your experience of teaching our people from Africa? I'm thinking the knowledge self. I'm thinking there'd be some nuances since you'd have to touch on the mystery of mainstream religion as well as the mystery within traditional African spirituality. Yes, right? However, I don't teach people from a region. I teach individuals. So when I teach anyone from somewhere, wherever they're from is important to me. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they're from is important to me. And I try to learn what they're dealing with, though. So it doesn't always come up, though, because you'd be surprised. A lot of people that are from African countries that are interested in knowledge of self, they don't need to be shown, at least in my experience, they haven't need to be shown the religiosity and the mysteriousness of their religions. It's a perception of Black Americans here, and even us, all of us that know that to be the motherland, and that we revere it in so many ways, that it would be harder to let go. But it's much more like a standard religion thing to them. Also, too, the majority of Africans that I have taught from different African countries, they're actually brought up under Christianity. So that's more their problem. So, the conquering religion of the world. You know what I mean? Right? Okay. If anybody saw the video, Peace to the Earth, Wisdom Infinite. If anybody saw the video of our universal flag legalities, okay, people are watching this later, right, as it's already done and it's up there and you could watch it at any pace that you want. And you could stop and watch this and then come back to this, whatever it is. But if you for those who are in there now, I'll go into it. Let me answer this question from Goods first. Goods, you said, do you think in any shape, form, fashion the brother did the trademark on purpose to possibly, potentially show and prove how we do things, to prove how we do things, how much it must be done? Do you mean that he did it to show and prove our inequities, like to actually highlight how we're not doing things correctly? Okay, Malik, I'm glad that you saw it. Okay, okay, give me some more detail then, to what you mean there, because um, I don't spend I spend very little time thinking about why Saladin did the trademark as opposed to um, the error of how he did it and the proof of his mentality and it was in his recent blog to double down on the way that he did. I'm gonna read to you what I said. I'm gonna build off that. Okay, good. You said to prove to someone outside of the nation how we do things. The coming together part, the beginning. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? I think he really tagged himself as a leader. I'm not going to say who it was, but there was an elder that was actually, he's no longer with us. And that's why I'm not going to mention his name. And he was a great God. That doesn't mean that everybody does things that seemingly become disagreeable or it's just a mistake. At the time, I didn't even, I said, yeah, because I didn't care, you know. During the time when the Allah School of Mecca street naming was done, this older god was campaigning the possibility. Okay, I was saying he's campaigning the possibility of Saladin being national spokesperson, like Dumar. We haven't had one since Dumar Wadi, and nobody has really tried to. You know what I mean? Nobody has really tried to. So he was pitching Saladin as one, and he was telling me the things he's done, and I was like, "Yeah, God, I know what he's done." You know, and now me personally, though, I think I was a great respect that he comes to me to ask me if it's a good idea to continue to campaign for him to be the national spokesperson. I said, yeah, because I know I'm one to ask because I represent the school, and thus I represent the nation on a bigger scale than just my personal self. However, he had done many things, and he had done a lot of speaking. Well, you read the blog, you saw his super digital footprint. He claims is the biggest digital footprint in the nation, right? And sometimes the biggest is not always the most qualitative, you know. But I digress. So it is very possible, Goods, that maybe he wanted to show how he can be a leader of the nation to the outside world. Because remember what I said, the spokesperson is that duty. So, hey, you know, Goods, you said someone asked one of us, if you are all gods, who makes decisions for the whole? How's it done? What happens if one goes outside of those parameters has been proven as what was proven before? That wasn't the way. He mentioned not going to law school makeup, but brought things to those who we knew. Right. There are some people, idiots, that are trolls in the comments that speak about he could do whatever he wants, that he's God, he could, you know. First of all, there is no place where you're allowed to do something for the whole and it's always good. You're not allowed to just do things for a whole group of people without even asking them. There is no place where that shit is okay. This is not something that even the gods and the earths made up. We did not make up that. We did not make up. There's no organization that you'll find. There's nothing that you'll find that says, I'm going to make a decision that directly affects everyone in an intense way, in a very powerful way, each and every one person. But I'm going to make this decision and I'm going to pull this initiative on my own. Find me an organization that does that. Because even if you go and watch sports, though, and you say, well, Jordan, he takes whatever shots he wanted when he wanted, they had to go through a whole season being coached so that they could know that Jordan is going to take the initiative. So no one, even there, is surprised when, oh, shit, this guy's taking all the damn shots. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, they did. They did sign up for that. Just like when Dumar, with his charisma, with his dynamism, his dominance, he didn't say, listen, I'm the national spokesperson. Y'all better anoint me. I'm going to do it. No. He was building and building, and they said, listen, that's going to be the title because that's how you work it. They decided. They came amongst themselves. And then they say, well, everybody's God. I'm God. I do things. I got knowledge. And in my head, I'm thinking, who you taught? Where you been? These people want to make decisions for stuff, and they've never been there. They've never been there. People want to make decisions about a law school in Mecca, and you don't even go there. You're not even there. Like you got knowledge yourself, and all of a sudden, though, it gives you a badge to have a vote directly in there. Sorry, your shit is an electoral vote. That's just an electoral vote. I'll listen to it, though, and if it's okay, then we'll deal with it. But if you're talking about how things are built, decisions at a law school in Mecca affect the whole nation. But that don't mean that everybody in the whole nation gets to decide what goes on in a law school directly. They get to campaign. They get to say their opinion. They get to disagree vehemently. But if you ain't doing anything in there, you ain't having no decision. It's like if we got chairs, if we got things in the school, we got things that are nice in the school, we got everything. And somebody says, you know what, I got an idea for these things to move it like this and have it like this. No, you better go talk to somebody. Whoever it's most important to, whoever it's being affected by, is the ones that make the decision. Some people talking, though, they don't even have a key to the building. You know what I mean? Saladin come down to a law school, though. He'd have to knock on the door when it's closed. Now, let's put the reality into it that what we teach, though, goes against the entire world. Not America. It's not a disagreement with America. It is a thought that affects the entire world in a way that they would see as negative. So there's no doubt that what we teach, though, even though it is not, it never seeks any harm toward anyone. It is completely revolutionary. And then you think that you're just gonna make decisions against in the devil civilization, like you know what you're doing. This class I teach, I had to go through. I didn't say, listen, I got an idea. I know what I know, and y'all don't know any writers. Y'all don't know how to teach writing, reading, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna teach that in my civilization class, and I'm gonna do me. The God Sunez Allah brought me to a law school. He made up the name Political Education and Civilization Enrichment. He drew up the drafts of what the course would be. The way I configured it, and the way I taught it, though, and the way I changed it and molded it, is mine and made it mine. But when he did it, he had to go to the older gods. See, can we do this? As I built and I taught the class, I had to be inspected constantly, week by week. You know what I mean? Constantly, week by week. So what are you talking about? Almost nobody in the comments that I saw in that video is qualified to make any decision. You're not qualified. And yet, somebody that's miles and miles away is qualified to make a decision about the nation. There is continued, I know for a fact, because I was there, that me and other gods my age though, in the 2000s, used to ask questions like this. You know why? You know why? Unlike Saladin, you know why? Because we walked around the blocks of Harlem and we took flags when they had it though. We took lessons if they were selling it. We overturned tables. If you were selling this though, we took it off your table. I personally have done this. So you think that we're all stupid and never thought like, what's a way that we can make sure that nobody's allowed to use this? Nobody. We're all stupid. We're all stupid. We're coming from all the places that we come from. Me, like I'm coming from the hip hop music industry. You don't think that I think about copyright? I had already gone through years though, running into magazines though, who were copying my material. Dealing with plagiarism and all these things and how they could be defended. But he's the one that figured it out. And that you have to keep saying this again because some bullshit in that blog. They didn't see what I said. He quotes somebody that might have said something that sound old, out of date, out of touch. The problem is not who's out of touch, is people that's fronting like they're in touch with things. It's easy to show how people might be out of touch. But the point of being God is you show and prove that you're in touch with the damn thing. It's a joke that he acts like he's in touch with shit. And I just think that it's something that's completely foolish that I see on these comments though, that people could go rogue, they could do whatever they want. You know, why we have to think of things and this and that? No. We're here to be the young and innovate. The young are here to innovate. But the elders are here to see if you are preserving what is meant to be preserved, even as you innovate with new understanding. This is what I always talk about, that balance. That must be taught to the young student to be able to innovate and yet preserve properly. You have somebody in the nation that's been in the nation longer than me. And thinks they could just do something, right? Man, the whole thing is not right and exact just because it's an act of wisdom knowledge. And possibly in the history of the nation, it might be one of the biggest acts of wisdom knowledge that I ever heard of. Let me do this because nobody else has thought of this. You know, I go out there and I say, listen, these lyrics I wrote with King Kamal, nobody got them though. Nobody could say what I said. I know, because I know I lived a unique life. I've done things nobody has been able to do. But at the same time, I heard almost 600 records a year. So I could say, I don't think anybody has these lyrics. We got somebody else acting like they were super smart. Like they're the only smart person in the nation. The only one that reads books. C. Akio, Remembered Imperfection, used to talk about this all the time. Because he used to argue, not going to say his arguments or his thoughts or ideas, but he had varying innovative ideas about the way the school looked, the outside, the way it would present itself, and its presentation. In other words, how we presented ourselves, what we said we are, the way everything looked. And that breached into what is ours, what is our copyright. We had these discussions. You coming from nowhere, assuming some shit. And what's annoying is they hold on to the assumption and double down on the idea that it's okay to not build with the elders and the people that have done it. Our role, we have it in the lessons though. We get taught this. And if you weren't taught this, then you don't know. But that's the whole science of the best knower. The science of the best knower is that so you hope that you're supposed to be learning so that one day I'm the best knower because I'm God. So I'm going to go somewhere and be the best knower. Nah, the thing was to figure out and have an ability to identify the best knower. What a fail. What a fail. All right. Something else, right? I want to go through some of these comments of stupidity here. You know? This is what I wanted to say. MF Doom, Wu Tang. Who else? Gangstar. Over my life, though, I've had clothing with these logos, the big MF Doom graph, Wu-Tang symbol. What else? Gangstar, yeah. Not only I've had the official logos from the official clothing, right, that they have, right? I've also had bootleg joints. Wu-Tang symbol, right? Perfect. Gangstar. Not from DJ Premier. You know what I mean? Right? Wu-Tang symbol is copyright. That's copywritten. You can't use that. How did I get a bootleg shirt then? Huh? You know? It didn't say Wu-Tang with two T's on it. It was perfect. The logo was right. Wore that shirt for a long time. The Gangstar shirt was dope. Wore it for a long time until it broke up. The you know the lettering, but it wasn't from Primo. What makes him think though that this is a guarantee? There's no such thing as guaranteeing that someone won't graft your thing, right? You go outside and see people with fake polo, right? Got the USPA on, got the Beverly Hills Polo Club. I thought Ralph. I thought Ralph. I thought he copywritten this. You can't put the word polo on anything. This word is copywritten. Like you can't use polo on a shirt. Like you can't make clothing with the word polo on it. But there's a lot of bootlegs out there. Not this joint though. Like this, I got the felt letters. You know what I mean? So this whole deal, this whole thing that he's selling, is not even what he's selling. I want people to look at stuff like that. To do something so extreme though, and to try to copyright a flag in his own corrupt way, because it's not, you can't copyright it. You have to copyright pieces of it though, right? Even he explained that. So what are we doing here? So this is a problem. You know what I mean? Goods, you said yes. In comparison to street naming, was he not included? Who was left out? Can one be interviewed and say, I wasn't asked about the sign? Nah, the sign was something that, he wasn't included in that, but neither was I. A lot of people weren't included with that. First off, the people that did this, that worked on the signing, though, they were the ones that were going to the community board meetings every single session. They were the ones that were doing all the work to see how it would get done and get done. But they had come to the gods and they had asked the elders, like, is this something that we want? Could this something that is also a good add-on? And they got that blessing because it was. It was a great idea. I'm not the best knower of that though. I wasn't involved with that. Nobody had to write a poem on that. Nobody had to write an essay on that. Now I'm at a law school every week though, so I knew about it though. And I was asked if I thought it was a good idea, and I said this is incredible. Talking about the street naming, not the copyright thing. Man, do shit on your own. Do stuff on your own though, and then you want to cry like, well, I tried to do something, you know? He's like a walking mystery god. He's a walking mystery god. I'm here to save you from yourselves. And I have people seeing, they say, I see these people wearing the flag. I see those people wearing the flag. That ain't gonna stop anybody from wearing it though. Somebody said, I see Muslims wearing the flag, so I could see Saladin's point because this is a good thing. When you copyright something, it doesn't mean that you stop average people from displaying something. Right? Because when Nike doesn't beat down people that got fake Nikes, right? And everybody wearing fake polo shirts, so they're not getting beat down and brought to jail. They're not getting told, take them clothes off, right? And Ralph is not doing the best job, right, of looking for fake polo, because I could easily find that on eBay. Can't stop the average person from doing something. How you stop Muslims from wearing flag? You go talk to them. You ain't supposed to be wearing that because you ain't qualified. You're not even this. If you had some power as the God, then other people. Because I don't see Muslims around. I don't see Muslims wearing my flag. I don't see that. I see them wearing their own flag. Supposed to do these things as one. The Father said He come together as one, and they want to do things as the one. But the way that people find this to be acceptable, you know what I'm saying? To wear the universal flag, you got to know that first of all, you're the true and living God. You got some degrees under your belt. You could build on this. You could show and prove that you're the true and living God, even if you haven't knowledge 120. Now, a pin though is something you're going to get though. Okay, Divine? But you got a knowledge 120. You got to be able to quote it. You got to be able to build on it. Wisdom infinite. You said, I noticed that after I rebranded as Backward Sweetie in 2019, a lot of MCs want to use backward in the name. It's really whack how people choose to copy. Nobody gonna say they wisdom infinite earth though. That's too much responsibility for them. That's really what it is, you know. And people are whack though. They see something that's like, oh yeah, well I smoke, so that sounds good. Why did I think of that? Whack as fuck, you know. I'm not gonna say that this is a money grab. Cause I'm gonna say this though. I spent no time thinking what Saladin is thinking in his mind. I don't care what's in his mind. And the fact that he continues to do this wrong, no, I don't care what's in his mind. I don't give a shit. He did something wrong, very wrong. And I remember because I was there bombing him. I was in that Zoom bombing him. I was one of them when he says they bombed me. I was one of them that he's crying about. Because I told him, you're not defending no hip hop. In this Zoom nodes, me and Darkim that's gonna be doing that. You're not defending a rapper that don't belong with the flag from wearing it. You're not the one. And then I bombed him. You have the nerve to act like you could do stuff without building with the elders. Why do we talk so much though about this knowledge of self when we disrespect the people that have knowledge? He thought he saw the world already though. You never know, Goods. I don't even know. I don't care. You know? You tax him, you know? My issue is that you did it twice though. You did the same wrong thing, but then you're doubling down like you did something great and you want to tell the world about stuff. And let me tell you, this is really where I'm at though with this. None of this shit though. None of this shit though was for the outer world. People that's not in this nation that's watching this though, you're supposed to learn. You could learn anything you want from me. I will never keep anything. But that wasn't knowledge. That was the business of people that happened to be true and living gods and earths though, and it was nobody's business except people in the nation. So to be writing about it after he did it, to be claiming, I got an email too. I didn't get an email saying, yo, I'm looking to get it. I said, I got an email that said, oh, I got a copyright. I copyrighted the flag and this and that. And we're going to have a meeting, a Zoom note to present what I did. He said, because he already did it. He acted like he emailed people before and I got an email from him. But that wasn't telling me, oh, why would I answer it though? I was like, you already did it. And that email came on December 21st. Y'all know what December 21st. That's my born day. I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Definitely not dealing with that bullshit on my born day. I probably could find that email too. Let's see. All right, look. Friday, January 7th, 2022. All right? Friday, January 7th, 2022. Peace, Sunez. I will that everything is well with you and the family. I'm reaching out because I wanted to personally make knowledge born that as of December 21st, 2021, our universal flag became an officially registered trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking blah. Right? After that, he said he would like to have, last paragraph, I'm reaching out to you to ask you that you consider being part of this official consulting board as your insider status within our initiative is what is necessary to help move this cooperative initiative forward. Please keep this correspondence private, as there were only a handful that I've reached out to, including you, and have 4 others on the board, such as blank blank. I'm not going to say their name. I said, peace, God, I'm with this. I'd be honored to be part of the consultant board, Sunez. Yeah, put me on the board. Let me see what's up with this shit. Y'all already did it, though. So, when I read that, goods, he reached out to people that he thought are intelligent so he can have his, so he already did it, so he can have a consultant board for what? To propagandize that it was correct? I don't know. I never met as that consultant board. I don't know what they did. I don't know. By the time people found out and everything, then they was getting, getting on them already. Right? I got that email January. By February, these Zoom meetings where they bombed them, because I was in that, took place. Now I figured out, learned what he did and stuff. And I did not agree with it. And any cipher you in, if you have respect for that cipher, though, you bring it, though. You have the universal flag. You have a black family, though. You're the true and living God. You don't make decisions without building with the earth. You know? If you make a decision for your children and you're not sure how it's going to impact them because you really care, then you build with your children. Even if you don't tell them what you're going to do, you ask them their thoughts about things that could give you answers to whether it's the right decision. You don't make decisions for the group without really knowing what the group wants. Whether in your family, in your organizations, on your teams, you don't do that. Got me hype here. The beat came on. Might have to rap to that. Can't say nothing about me. I always kept it perform essays. Almighty's culture and enlightenment. Past sightings of Vlad's vultured entitlement. Hypnotism got a bed. Grafted peaches and paste as a scent. Clipped from books to analyze song book. I'm bugging over here. I'm bugging. But listen, the whole world is presented everything. The whole world is presented everything. We have to present the world everything. Now, I'm somebody that I've been sharing my whole reality on many levels to the world, you know? And yet I keep a privacy. And yet I make moves with consulting people and building, even if the person that's affected most so by it is me. I don't like that this whole thing is to the world. I don't like that he thought that that was a good idea to do that, and I found it very condescending. It's like when you do something and then you expect people to just be okay with it because they want to save face. You know? How far is Niagara Falls though, man? He out there in Niagara Falls, how far is that? Is it exactly 20 miles outside? You know what I'm saying? I bet we measure it though, and every measuring guy makes it 20 miles outside of the holy city. It's just uncanny how big-head scientists people be. And then now we have to deal with people arguing that never been in this shit. People that troll me like they know, like if people troll me, like who's this guy? That means you ain't been around. Like after a while, if you don't know who I am, you ain't been around. It's like you watching the NBA. You didn't watch much though if you know who's playing. Yeah, man, this is crazy. But I'm gonna be here till 7, a little over 15 minutes. So, anybody want to ask anything? We could keep talking about this or anything else. You know, people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing though, but they want to be the leader though. You know what I'm saying? They want to be the leader. They want to run shit. And you know what? They have no idea how difficult it is to run shit. You know? You know what's funny? And I'm gonna say this though. You can make a cipher, and this is to every god in the whole universe though. You can make a cipher and build and make a school anywhere in the world though. It ain't gonna be as difficult as a school in Mecca. It's our foundation. It has a special place though. You know what I'm saying? And until things get different, the best knowers are still there. And or they congregate there. So because no, not just Mecca, Medina they're gonna congregate to Mecca and let it be known. The best knowers congregate there. And until somebody shows and proves with me, those are where the elders are. You find them and you go build with them. Every single thing I've ever done in this nation, though, I got discussion. When I did my own newspaper that was going to be, I brought it to the elders. I spoke to elders with everything I've ever done. I think that's the most important, most egregious thing that he did. Is to act like he doesn't have to speak to anybody. me tell you something, Jay De Niro. When I build here and I tell you that it's some bullshit, and when you want to build at a law school in Mecca, you want to have a say, then you build. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a say, then you build. You ain't doing anything, you go have a say, you go build. If that's what you want, then you go build. If you want to add on something, you want to do something in the name, build with the elders. People be saying some wild shit on this thing. You know? I laugh because I'll say things that I was there for, and people will be like, "No, you Puerto Rican, you don't know what you're talking about." It's some dumb shit. Or I see things like, "Oh, the Wu, they never had the knowledge the right way," and then they try, right? They'll get on me for me saying that when I didn't say it. You watch the video, that's not what I said. I said they all had the knowledge, but not all of them were under the study. Some of them were under the study, and they were getting great advice, though, and they were building with the elders, including Freedom Allah, Papa Wu, Remembered Imperfection. That's what I said. Things got twisted up. People don't do the knowledge correctly. There's people that got this knowledge, though, and they sound real good with it, though. It's good enough to do responses and all that kind of shit, but they wasn't under any study. They got album. They got album under the album study. They got a little bit album study. And now you could look like you was under the study. Watch a couple of videos with me, learn the syntax, watch Dark Kim, definitely. Ideal 5% of syntax, style, stylistics, all of that. If I watch Dark Kim enough, though, I could just copy this thing. It seems that's the way it is, though, because people, they're not doing anything. People that aren't in Mecca, that go on to learn from us, they're supposed to be telling us, though, where they're at, though, what they're doing. You're a mystery where you're at, though, but they want to be big on the comments, though. Big on the comments, though. They know what needs to be done at Mecca, though, but I'm right there. Come see me. You got a disagreement? Come see me. If somebody goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to go see Sunez and disagree with him, though, even though I think everything he says is foul, because he does that kung fu and I'm not trying to fight nobody." If that's what you think, if that's your excuse, then you're already weak. Because if there was fighters far better than me all over the world, and I'll step to them, though, if I think that I'm right about something. You know what's funny? We all can fight. I don't know what you're doing. We all can fight. Oh, my dumb ass look like fighting somebody that's wrong already. So I got to exert my energy, possibly alter, skew my clothing to physically confirm something that's already not. Now, people need to be building and make themselves a known God before they start commenting about what goes on at the school. The majority of those people in the comment board, they wouldn't have no say about this shit either. That means if they had a meeting at the school, the truth is that Saladin would have to prove that he was even qualified to even think about doing that. Meaning that what research did he do to know how this nation has thought of this idea and discussed it? They wait till all my legends is gone so they can open a big fucking mouth, you know, with their deeds, you know, to show us what we needs to be doing, what we needs to learn. I have to do another run though, but from what I thought there was a few, but I don't want to say my number because I'll be disappointed if they're not there. But I haven't done a run through. But my point was that it's always going to be difficult, but it's not just the difficulty in teaching, it's the expectations though of how that's where what I think should be done for the nation, that's where I go to see if the whole nation is peace with it. Not the other way around. But this is not a nation. We didn't invent that wheel. That's how you deal with organizations. That's how you be organized. Sometimes things sound like a great idea, and then they're dumb or don't work though. If you love this nation, you wouldn't treat them like they were stupid, and you was taking it places. They go so many places. Look, let me tell you something. Don't get your ego up when you build. You go out there and people are like, oh man, you're amazing though, this and that. You know why I don't have that? I never get amazed because I'm around legends all the time. I build with gods with supreme that are way above. So I'm always humbled. I'm always like, oh, you know what? Don't be thinking, oh, I got nice polo and everything. No, I go with the low lives though, so I can see. Let me see Sun Low, Thirst, right? LeBronx, right? And see all they shit. Oh, humble yourself. You got ways to go. We need to do that with all things. That's right. Major bank mentality. Thank you for that. Malachi said, that's right. Malachi definitely was the ringleader in that. He led that effort. We wouldn't have it if it wasn't for what he did. You know? All right. I'm going to be on for you a couple of minutes till 7 o'clock. So I got a couple of minutes left. Let me read through these things. Being that this was tried before, what made him address it again? No, see, that's the whole thing, Malik. He didn't know if people thought about this before. Okay? First of all, if you really did the knowledge, though, you cannot, he himself says, you cannot copyright a flag, though. So that means that what he presents as something to be protected is already grafted. So that means that somebody else could say, well, the universal flag is not a flag. It doesn't represent the nation. Look how it's copyrighted. So he be acting like people can't just twist things and be more clever. Okay? Second of all, I already proved you cannot protect the little protections like from eBay or corny rapper. He's not protected from eBay because I could find fake polo easily on eBay. And Ralphie be doing his thing. Okay? I was wearing fake Wu-Tang shirts because relatives gave it to me and it was dope. And I was like, yo, man, represent Wu or be mad that it's not official and throw it away. I represent Wu more. I love Wu. Gangstar. Those are all gifts I got. I have a Doom shirt that's dope. It's not official MF Doom. It's not official from MF Doom. So all the things, the bonuses he's talking about defending against rappers. You're not doing none of that. You're not doing none of that. You need this to make sure rappers don't use our shit the wrong way. People be thinking like when there's a rapper that says some dumb shit though, that they getting because they're not right and exact, that you just go, oh look, yeah, can you not do that? Because it's not really right and exact to use our shit like that. No, you tell them you're wrong though, and you will be checked for that. He not that dude. He's not doing that. He's not that dude. He's not even in the ciphers. But this discussion, yo, go to the school, ask the elders though. You don't see Al-Keel though, disrespecting all the work that has been done to bring this nation to so many places and shit. One thing I learned though, never do wisdom knowledge. Never do wisdom knowledge though. Because it has you stumbling to a misunderstanding, right? To a vulturing culture, right? To a misuse of power and an inequality that you continue to breed in your justifications. Everybody that says Saladin, he got a right to do this stuff. Everybody that says that, everybody, every last one of them is not right and exact. They all based on wisdom knowledge. If it's okay to do to wisdom knowledge though, then you get your own damn fault Beverly Hills Polo Club lessons and you go out there. You go do that fake shit. That shit is wisdom knowledge from the jump. And it was okay. It's okay, right? It's never okay. So I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, he was maligned because he was trying to do something though. There's not one thing that's done for the nation without you asking, yo, is this peace? How do you see this though? What's your understanding of this? People be bugging. Every last one person that justified what he did told me that you're not in this. And you told me that in real life, though, you're a fool and could never be part of an organization that actually develops and does something. Right? Add on positively, destroy negativity. That's right, God. Divine, you said buildings universal change as a newborn building also causes one to destroy certain aspects of I also cause his eye to destroy certain aspects of awareness. My older taught me to build prayer every time when times are hard. Does it help? No, it doesn't. Prayer is thinking outside of yourself for an answer. You don't seek that you know what I mean? That's different from meditation of thought and different from real meditation, which is no thought. Peace to the God Raz King. Yeah, I've definitely worn clothes in unofficial clothes in an official way. Malik, you said builders to construct, uplift, improve, inspire, and destroy is to eliminate, take away, it's no longer needed. That's right. All right, everybody that's on, I'm gonna say peace. I want to thank everybody to add on. And listen, if you're a troll and everything, I'm here, man. I'm here, and don't think that you're not gonna get hurt. Okay, you're not gonna get hurt. You're gonna get bombed. It's a little bit different. You're gonna be used as a tool to teach others, just like we've been doing this whole time. But everybody keeps saying that they want to add on. Anybody that argues about a law school now, to me, anybody that argues about a law school in Mecca, we don't have this, we don't have that. If I haven't seen you, then you ain't done anything. And if you want to give an excuse for Sunez is there and he's doing this, you're scared. You're shook. I don't want to hear any of that shit. You want to add on with stuff, you go and build. You know? Let me tell you something. When I learned every elder was in my class adding on, some being rudely, most of them being great. And that went all the way to everyone who was elder, all my elders, to big brothers like Darkim would analyze what I was doing and give me thoughts, criticisms. You know, people be thinking that this is not how knowledge and learning works. This is not a 5% thing. We didn't make that up. That's the way knowledge works. That's the way building works. That's right, Major Bang. That's the only way to do shit, right? That's the only way. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way to do shit. We didn't make that up. It's true goods. You're not gonna get hurt though. I dress nice enough where it keeps me calm. Now if you see me and I go there, you know, and I'm not wearing polo, then you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just wearing Nike fits and shit, oh, you're in trouble. I ain't come there for nothing else. You know? But that's not gonna happen. It's always peace. It's always peace. You know? But it's wild that I bombed them like others, telling them all this, and then they act like it still was all good. Hey, remember when the flag was copyrighted and you guys didn't want to use it? I was so right about that. Come on, don't tell me what that really earns and stuff. You know? What you really deserve from that. I'm not even gonna say it though, but you know what that deserves. You know? The school classroom is a place of experimentation and ideas. When you build, you you're learning, things blow up in your face. When you build things in an organization, you consult to make sure things don't blow up in the face when you all decide what to build. It's common sense. In fact, it's the way. This is not we didn't make that up. It's common sense. Common etiquette, protocol, and respect. And with that, I'm going to say peace and let everybody go. And we will continue to build. We still build. All right? Peace.